Hello again, my name's Gabe Zona. You know, I posted MVI 8145, question, when was this request made? Re Benghazi. And in that video, I talked about what Judicial Watch had found, which was that the State Department had gotten a hold of Hillary Rodham Clinton's lawyer, David Kendall, and asked him to destroy certain documents that make reference to Benghazi. And I had said what's really important is to determine as to the date of that request. Well, I want to thank one of my viewers. And he wrote, "Here you go, Gabe. Looks like the 20th of September 2012, according to multiple articles citing Representative Chaffetz's congressional subpoena. Hope this is helpful. You can reach the Washington Examiner dated today titled, quote, The Long, Complicated Story of Hillary Clinton's Subpoena, end of quote, originally written by Byron York on March the 30th, 2015. Now, if that's true, which I suspect that it probably is, doesn't that show that the government, the State Department, is absolutely complicit in their attempt to cover up the truth about Benghazi? Look at MOV 01868. That's MOV 01868. The pieces of the puzzle all fit. Benghazi is the key. I made that video at the beginning of 2013. It'll help people, I believe, understand why Benghazi happened the way Benghazi happened. For those of you that don't want to take the time to watch that video, I'll lead you through some of what I believe to be true. If you remember, Hillary Rodham Clinton with Huma Abedin traveled extensively throughout the Middle East during the time that Hillary Rodham Clinton was Secretary of State. And they were, I believe, instrumental in bringing about the Arab Spring. And what that did was it ended up having the president of Egypt, Mubarak, who was there for over 30 years, removed from power. And he was replaced by Mohammed Morsi. Now, Mohammed Morsi is a friend, a long-time friend of the Clintons. When the Morsis lived in the United States back in the 80s, they were very close to the Clintons. Mohammed Morsi, when he became president of Egypt, had made two promises to the Egyptian people. The first promise that he made was that Jerusalem would become the capital of Egypt. The second promise that he made is he would free the blind sheik. Well, who's the blind sheik? Well, the blind sheik was sent to prison for his attempt in the bombing of the Twin Towers in, I believe, 1993. The blind sheik, to many Muslims, is considered to be a prophet. And as such, the people would do anything and everything that they can to get him back. The blind sheik's name, for those of you that aren't familiar with him, is Omar Abdul Rahman. Omar Abdul Rahman was sentenced to federal prison for the rest of his miserable life. The plan was put together by, I believe, Barack Hussein Obama and a number of Muslim Brotherhood members when they were given special visas to travel from Egypt to the United States. And they met at the White House with the chosen one sometime in the May-June timeframe of 2012. And a plan was put together, and what they would attempt to do, or what they had planned to do, was to capture the ambassador, Chris Stevens, kidnap him. Now, Hillary Rodham Clinton helped facilitate that because a week prior to the scheduled meeting that the ambassador had established that the Clinton administration was aware of, the Clinton administration removed and reassigned 14 armed guards that protected the facility. It wasn't an embassy. The embassy, I believe, was in Tripoli. This is nothing more than a facility. And a question that needs to be asked that wasn't asked, and I've made numerous videos on this, is, well, why was the CIA there? Why were these operatives there less than a mile from the facility? That question wasn't asked. I believe I know why they were there, and I've stated why they were there, I believe, in countless videos. They were there to ship the weapons that Gaddafi had amassed, that Obama wanted, which is why he invaded, without congressional approval, Libya, to have access to those weapons. The CIA annex distributed those weapons from Libya into Turkey. Tayyip Erdogan, who is a close ally of the Chosen One, then shipped them to the rebel freedom fighters in Syria to get rid of Bashar al-Assad. The rebel freedom fighters, I believe, have now morphed into ISIS. And that never would have happened if Obama wouldn't have removed our military from Afghanistan and from Iraq. But that's a different story. So now you've got the ambassador coming to visit the facility. He meets with a high-ranking Turkish diplomat. They have dinner, and then the Turkish diplomat leaves. Shortly thereafter, there's an attack on the facility. Sean Smith, who's an aide of the ambassador, his body is found at the facility. Now, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty were two operatives that were at the CIA annex. They, along with two other operatives, heard the gunshots, received radio requests for assistance. They were ordered to stand down. They stood down. 30 minutes later, they were ordered to stand down again, and they refused the second stand down order. They rushed to the scene. They became involved in a fierce gun battle with the insurgents. The four operatives, from what's been reported, killed over 60 of the insurgents before they themselves were killed by the insurgents. The body of the ambassador was found by a doctor, and he was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. From what's been reported, his genitals were cut off and he was sodomized. There's also rumors or speculation that the ambassador was a homosexual, so he never should have been sent to that part of the world to begin with. But again, that's a different story. So now you've got Mohammed Morsi in power. You've got the ambassador murdered. Hillary Clinton was not made aware of it until much later on, from what's been reported. At 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, General Dempsey, who's Obama's lackey, and Leon Panetta, who headed up the military, told Barack Hussein Obama that the facility was overrun and that the ambassador was killed. They then went, from what's been reported, to the Pentagon. Hillary wasn't informed, and you might find that to be rather strange now, since Hillary was in fact Secretary of State, and Chris Stevens worked directly for her. There's speculation that Obama spoke with Hillary that evening. And there's speculation that they spun a story. There's also speculation that Bill had told Hillary that she can't get involved by going on national shows and blaming the event on a video that was put together by some celeb in California. When Obama couldn't get Hillary to do it, when he returned from his money gathering deal, which is where he went the very next morning to Las Vegas, he got Susan Rice to go on 5 national shows trying to convince the people, after both he and Hillary in a rose garden also tried to convince the people that what happened as a result of a video trailer. Not true. Obama saw his plan disintegrate in front of his eyes. Again, the plan was to kidnap the ambassador and trade him for the blind sheik. That would have created an incredible win for Obama just before the 2012 presidential election. And he also would have been a hero with the Muslims, the enemies of America, the Muslim Brotherhood, who in Egypt have been deemed to be a terrorist organization. Yet many of the Muslim associates have been placed into key cabinet positions right here in the United States by Barack Hussein Obama. That, my friend, is how it sort of all unfolded. That's what I believe, and that's what I believe will come to be known by the American people eventually. I want to thank my viewer for providing me with that date. I assume that date is in fact correct, and it ties the pieces of the puzzle together. It does for me. Hopefully, it does for you as well. You know what I think. Let me know what you think.